The president was terrified to discover that the little boy's left hand actually had 6 fingers. He originally thought he would be shocked and afraid, but unexpectedly, the very next second he dropped to his knees before the boy's mother, desperately slapping himself across the face and repeatedly apologizing to the mother and son. The reason the president reacted so strongly upon seeing the boy's 6 fingers was because he himself also had 6 fingers, and only members of his family bloodline possessed this trait. So the moment he saw the boy's 6 fingers, he immediately concluded that this child was the biological son he had been searching for all these years. It turned out that 6 years ago, the president had suffered from a condition called death gold syndrome after a car accident, leaving behind only 1 vial of his genetic material to continue the family line. But the hospital made a mistake and implanted the vial into a young woman. When the president's mother found out, she was furious. After all, this was the family's only remaining bloodline. She ordered the president to find that girl at all costs. However, 6 years passed, and the president still never found the girl. He couldn't help wondering whether she had chosen not to give birth to the child at all. Since children of the Liu family were always born with 6 fingers, finding a 6-fingered child would mean finding his own flesh and blood. What he didn't know was that the girl not only gave birth but also raised the child well. But because the boy was born with 6 fingers, he was constantly bullied at school. To save money for surgery for her son, the woman had no choice but to take him along to work as a playmate for a wealthy family's child. Before entering the house, she made her son wear gloves to hide his hand. She never imagined that the employer would turn out to be the boy's biological grandmother. Because she had never found her real grandson, the old lady cried so much from longing that her eyesight was deteriorating. The president, unable to bear seeing her so distraught, had adopted a boy from an orphanage. Perhaps it was some kind of emotional intuition, but the old lady became excited when she heard the real boy's voice. However, the adopted grandson was petty and jealous. The moment he saw someone competing for attention, he flew into a rage. The butler signaled to him to act cute for the grandmother, then used the child's fake tears as an excuse to order the mother and son to be thrown out. Fortunately, the president returned home in time. When he saw the little boy, he immediately felt a strange sense of familiarity and decided to let him stay and play with the adopted child for the day. But the boy's presence made the butler extremely uneasy. As soon as the playtime ended, the butler hurried to throw the boy out, only to be shocked when he noticed the child's 6 fingers. To prevent the boy from disrupting his plans, the scheming butler secretly plucked a strand of his hair for a DNA test, intending to claim the child had genetic defects and use that excuse to bar him from entering the family during the old lady's birthday celebration the next day. At the birthday banquet the next day, the little boy presented a protective charm he handmade as a gift, but the butler snatched it away and insulted it as worthless. The boy's mother stepped forward and said it was at least her son's heartfelt effort. Just as the old lady was about to speak, the butler cut her off by announcing it was time to cut the cake. The woman had no choice but to swallow her anger, which only made the butler bolder. When the old lady gave the boy a slice of cake, the adopted child immediately glared fiercely and kicked the boy, tripping him to the ground. The butler berated the boy, accusing him of ruining the old lady's birthday luck and asking what his intentions were. The boy tried to explain that it was the adopted child who tripped him, but the butler accused him of slandering the child and mocked him as a fatherless brat. The old lady could no longer bear it and shouted that it was just a piece of cake. Why say such vicious things? But the butler insisted the mother and son were deceiving her, claiming she had already investigated the woman and slandering her personal life, even saying she didn't know who the child's father was. The butler even called the boy a monster, claiming the family must have genetic issues. The old lady was shocked. To prove she was telling the truth, the butler rushed over and pulled off the boy's glove, revealing his 6 fingers. The mother, unable to endure it any longer, slapped the butler hard and tried to leave with her son, but the butler quickly ordered the bodyguards to restrain them. She then grabbed a vase and smashed it over the mother's head, causing her to bleed on the spot. The boy, terrified, tried to protect his mother, but the butler, cruel beyond reason, even attacked the child, calling him a liar who ruined the old lady's birthday. Just as she struck out again, the president suddenly appeared and stopped the butler. The butler, seeing the president, instantly tried to play innocent, claiming everything she did was for the old lady's sake. She asked why the boy always wore gloves if he wasn't a monster. Unexpectedly, the president raised his own hand, revealing his 6 fingers. Realizing she had misspoken, the butler immediately tried to shift blame, saying the woman had been abandoned because of her defective genes and that the distinguished family would be mocked if they kept such a child in the house.